we will start where we stopped in the last class. If we recall, we were discussing about thermocouple. This we have already told that the thermocouple is one of the most popular industrial devices for measurement of temperature. So, it was that it is a hot junction, T hot, or the measuring junction we call it, and it consists of two metals, metal A and metal B, for this one there. Okay. And these weights are long enough because, as I told, the temperature we are measuring may be on the top of the boiler, which is a 8th floor or 10th floor area. And you are your all the measuring instruments, or you are sitting in a control room, which may be in the first floor or second floor of it. So, the long weights of the thermocouple has to be brought in, and that's why we have also told you that it requires some protective their bits are connection, so that it is not mechanical, it is protected. And finally, what we do is that we measure it at some point where we call it a reference junction. And here is your voltmeter, say, or amplifier, or like this. And this voltage E0 is equal to, is a function of T hot junction minus T reference junction. Actually, it is not linear, that's why I am taking it. That is a function of this one, and these are available in some sort of what is the values and etc. They are available in thermocouple tables, but in a short range we can consider them to be linear. And we have told that depending upon its stability, inertness and etc., only few materials or the metal pairs are used for practical applications. And there we mentioned about what we call it reference junction compensation. Reference junction compensation. So, what is the reference junction compensation? Is that normally we want that, you see, if the reference junction should be always be constant, so that it is only dependent upon, the output is only dependent upon the hot junction. But it is very costly, it is not practical to have a reference junction at always at constant temperature. So, what we call, we keep it that this reference junction is often kept at room temperature. And the room temperature is naturally during day and night and like this, the room temperature or the reference junction temperature will vary. So, naturally, once we measure the output voltage, and from that one I try to infer the hot junction temperature, there would be error unless you measure the reference junction and take care of that one. And that is what we call it a reference junction compensation. What is a reference junction compensation? It is something like this. Say maybe this potential, this is voltage, is, I call it E between T hot and T reference, okay, and maybe this is a potential polarity of it, plus and minus, which one is plus terminal, which is minus terminal. So as I told that this voltage will be going down as the T reference increases. So what we put is rather I will put it in this way, some sort of compensation circuit which will contain a temperature measurement, a room temperature measurement scheme, a compensation circuit which measures T also, is a function of T there. So what is that? It adds up some voltage at this one. It adds up some voltage. That means if the reference junction temperature is 0, we need not add up anything. 0 degrees Celsius, we need not add up anything. This will be the same voltage which is coming and we will get it. That means this compensation will not provide any extra voltage adding to it. But if the reference junction temperature is not 0, say suppose some 20 or 30 degree or 40, whatever may be, this reference compensation circuit measures some temperature there and produces some voltage which would be added to it. So that this if I call it say E1 and if I call it say E2, so E1 plus E2 is equal to E0. They will be added up and we will get some voltage which is as if the reference junction is at 0 degrees Celsius and there is no effect of the temperature and all other things. So that is what is called is that in the reference junction, because otherwise if we don't use a reference junction compensation, that will give you some error in the measurement. So this is very important and it has to be kept in this one. So there are several, so basically if we look at it, there are several schemes for measurement for achieving this one. So reference junction compensation. So first of all, you can see that T is the room temperature variation which you need to measure. So this temperature is not very high range there. So we can use several devices, several temperature measuring devices and compensate it. What we could be that one is that using RTD. What is that? I just make it in this way. This is your hot junction temperature and this is what is there and you put a bridge. So here it is E1. This is a plus terminal and a minus terminal. And you can see there is a constant voltage applied. All three resistances are constant. And what is this? This RTD is measuring your temperature. This RTD is measuring your temperature. And you can see it easily. This is, if we look at it from this point to this point, this is a higher temperature resistance. So this voltage would be at higher potential compared to this one. So there would be a plus and minus A would be there. And there would be, this will be E2 would be the voltage. So what we get is E0 is equal to E1 plus E2. So naturally, we need to design an RTD as well as the voltage what voltage and also other elements of the bridge, so that due to the temperature rise for this thermocouple, we are losing some voltage that would be boosted up by this RTD bridge there. That would be boosted up by this RTD bridge there. So I just take an example to explain this one there. Say for example, of course I will not do the fully because it may take some time. It is, I will just give an outline of it here. So you have a it is problem 9.2 Bentley. So it's a long A, but I mean statement, so I will try to skip that one. Thermocouple, we have a thermocouple like this. Output voltage, output or rather EMF, 4.1 millivolt at 100 degrees Celsius and 16.4 millivolt at 400 degrees Celsius if T reference equal to 0 degree Celsius. So you can see from this one, we are assuming that this thermocouple is linear because 0 to 100 it is 4.1, 0 to 400 it is 16.4. So it is just the 4 times of this one. So what is their sensitivity? It is basically, I call it a beta or like this. It is 4.1 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 100. So it is 41 microvolt per degree Celsius. So it is something like this. Your E1 is equal to, it should have been E0, that is if it was as if to 0 degree Celsius, but it has dropped down by some amount E2 there because of the reference junction temperature. Okay. So I need to compensate this one. So what is your compensation? We require E2 is equal to 41 microvolt per degree Celsius. That means because this is an RTD there, it should give you, and it says you use a 1 volt supply there. And this RTD, it is also given, is a nickel RTD whose sensitivity is, or rather coefficient of resistance alpha at 0 degree Celsius is equal to 6.8 into 10 to the power minus 3 per degree Celsius, and its resistance at 0 degree Celsius is equal to 10 ohm. Our HA is that design the bridge. So our job is to design the bridge. Your job is to design the bridge, and this is basically 10 ohm at the into 1 plus alpha T. We know this is the resistance. So what 1 volt supply voltage is given, but that means this bridge sensitivity will be again that 41 microvolt per degree Celsius. Now, if we look at it, say suppose I say that R1, R2, R3 and R4. These are the four resistance. R obviously R1 and R4 is the RTD, which is a 10 ohm resistance at 0 degree Celsius. So we need to make it such that this voltage is here. So what we can say that choose, because R3 is equal to 10 ohm, that is a best thing there, that you choose this adjacent term is the same. And this R1 one way like this, R1 and R2 equal to are the same. Of course, there are many ways. Is equal to R there. R1 and R2 is equal to R there. So what is your rather E2 voltage? This is equal to, what is it? This voltage will be R4 divided by, that is a 1 volt into R4 divided by R2 plus R4 minus, what is it? R3 divided by R1 plus R3. So in this case, what we can say is that what is unknown, and this must be is equal to, and we can say that this is equal to 1 volt, and we know R4 is equal to 10 into 1 plus alpha t. This alpha we know. This alpha, I am skipping that 0 alpha at 0, but basically I am just writing alpha. And here it is R2, that means R plus of 10 into 1 plus alpha t. And here it is minus of R3, that is 10 divided by R plus 10. Okay? So what should be this voltage? We know that this should be, that much reduction has to be compensated. So this should be is equal to 41 into 10 to the power minus 6 into definitely that temperature. Okay? That temperature you will have to do it. So now you simplify it. I am not going to do this one. Only what is unknown is the resistance R. R value, just if you come to it, it's approximately is equal to, what is that, 1650 possibly. Just a minute. Approximately 1650 ohm. Just you can check it. So the bridge can be nicely designed. There are other ways also. Here the arms ratio, there are other ways also. You can vary the voltage or doing that one. But here from this one, you can select that this one. This is Bentley's book's problem. You can do that thing. So the basic thing is the same, that we are measuring the reference temperature, reference junction temperature, and giving a compensation. And there is another popular circuit using that AD590. So method 2 is by using IC temperature sensor. So the circuit, actually you have seen that AD 590, it is a very popular temperature sensor in the range of -50 to +150 degrees Celsius, and very robust and linear and high sensitivity. Those manufacturers themselves, they have given in their data sheet a circuit which is widely used for ADR. I am just drawing it for a AD590 circuit because I am just simply drawing it from their ADR, from their data sheet. This AD580 is a 2 is a constant voltage generator which we can tap 2.5 volt over each there. So what is there now? It is, we call it some RA resistance, and this 2.5 volt is given at this point there, and the other one is connected over here, and rest is and this one output. So this is your thermocouple, and this is for, suppose this is the iron, and this is your constant 10. So I request you try to see the one. Basically, this AD590, we will be flowing some current through this part as well as through some this A there, through RA also. That is a A there. So this way you can just try to derive it, but they say that the expression is equal to V0 is equal to Vt minus Va. That means the temperature of the hot junction minus the temperature of the ambient. So it is Vt minus Va, and that plus of IARA plus 2.5 divided by 1 plus RA, and this one I call it R, by R minus of 2.5. This one we can derive and find out. So if minus of 2.5 volt, and if we can see that this will be approximately Vt, that is the ambient, independent of the ambient temperature, if R is equal to 9135 ohm. So you select this one, and it would be, the whole thing will be totally temperature compensated. That means any ambient temperature varying will not cause your output voltage change there, and that is called the reference junction temperature compensation. Okay. So this is actually, we will find any book, they have provided this analog devices or the data sheet. They have provided the same circuit. They have also said that if it is a copper constant, then this R value will be different, and they have all. So lastly, before we go to conclude the thermocouple, we'll talk we'll discuss about extension wears of thermocouple. Extension wears of thermocouple. What do you mean? If we recall, I have mentioned that the thermocouples are placed at very remote places or like this, maybe at top of a boiler or like this, which is 10 floor height and like this there. While you want to measure your instrument, you want to keep it, and normally it is kept at, say, suppose first floor or something there. Okay. So we can say that this is your thermocouple hot junction, and this is your, what we call it, a reference junction, where you are measuring a voltmeter or amplifier and all these things there. So naturally what we will require is that we will connect a wire like this there. Mind it, this, as I told, this may be of a very long wire, 50 meter or like this, or 20 meter or like this. And what is the wire made of? It is made of platinum, rhodium, etc., which are very noble and costly metals. So naturally, we cannot afford to use these long wires of platinum, rhodium, or like this there. It would be very costly. Also, there is a possibility of theft and all other things there. So what is the way out? So the way out is that, okay, nearly this one, so here it is a T reference, I call it. Near to this one, I keep another junction that is called T head. And in between, we use a different material wires that we call it extension wires. We call it extension wires. So basically, the thermocouple up to this, say, suppose platinum, rhodium, and like this, but mostly, or copper, nickel, copper, chromel aluminum like this, but mostly we will be using our some low cost extension wire. But what is our desired here? Desired property, even though we use this extension wires or like this there, this will not be, our measuring system will not be able to see any change because of the use of extension wire. What we call is that the desired property of extension wire is that the thermo EMF generated by the, say, suppose I just choose it in this way, it is a chromel and it is alumel. By the, say, suppose the chromel alumen, for this platinum, rhodium is also there. I am not here there. Chromel alumel thermocouple uh, corresponding to T head minus T reference. That means T head is a different temperature, T reference is a different temperature. That will also contribute to some thermocouple voltage corresponding to this one there. If we use a different material there, corresponding, and the that generated by, in this case we use it, say suppose iron and some nickel, copper nickel ware. Some there, when you purchase thermocouple, they provide you this extension ware, often like this there. So this one, that iron, copper, nickel ware are almost same. That means if we had, say suppose from this to this, we had some voltage by original thermocouple from a aluminum thermocouple. Is voltage coefficient in this one, EMF coefficient in this range, and for this pair iron, copper, nickel iron should also in that, in that range should be almost identical. So as a result, there would not be, if we use iron nickel alloy, there would not be any change in temperature or output voltage there if we replace it by this one. And so naturally our cost and whole thing would be would be much less, and it is more practical. So often thermocouples are there with a long wires are like this. They normally employ a small piece of thermocouple wire up to the some head junction, and then through that one we use some sort of a long wire which are of low cost material, and so that prevents that reduces the cost, because economy is a major factor we'll have to look into whenever we look we have to consider the design and all the things there. Okay. So with this one, I will conclude thermocouple. We will give you some problems also, but Bentley and other books also have a here there. Now quickly, I would be going to another topic, that is if we look at it, the measurement of temperature, if we look at it, we must have seen that we have considered, we have a number of here there, we have a number of temperature measuring devices, RTD, thermistor, semiconductor temperature sensor, thermocouple, all like this. But all of them are, we call it a invasive type. Invasive type means you will have to insert the measuring device or the sensor inside the ear there, and then you have to measure it. So basically, sometimes it is called intrusive type, or sometimes it is called a invasive type. But there are cases, and you know possibly there are cases where you cannot enter there. It is not the hot there, oven or whatever we call, it is not accessible to you. You cannot enter it. And also it may be that if its temperature is so high that if we insert any metal or thermocouple or like this, they will simply melt down. We cannot measure it. So what we want is that a non-invasive type temperature measurement. What is that? Okay, from a distance, I measure the temperature. I assess the temperature sitting from a distance there. It is obviously possible. We measure the temperature of stars, temperature of sun, sitting here. How do you measure it? How do you measure it? We measure it by some technique, what is called a radiation thermometer. What is radiation thermometer? Radiation thermometer is actually, we know that any hot body emits some electromagnetic radiation. Any hot body emits some electromagnetic radiation. So you capture some of the radiation, and from that one you try to find out what is the temperature. You try to find out what is the temperature. So if we also know, basically, if we our feelings also from our intuitively are like this. Yeah. If somebody cooks, if somebody cooks with some chulha or like this there, what we will get? If you are sitting nearby, standing nearby, you will get a hot feeling of this one. So that means what is happening? Your temperature of your screen increases. So naturally it feels hot there if you are here nearby. And also we have seen that when you melt a iron or like this, depending upon the temperature, the color of the iron changes. So that's why we call it red hot. And if it is further there, then could be white hot or like this there. So the color can be changed. So these are the things which we often use. And for this one, these techniques are called the radiation pyrometer or radiation thermometer or something there. So the advantage is that one can measure up to 6,000 degrees Celsius. Second is that can measure from a distance. So often we require to measurement of from a distance and etc. So that is a very important one, and we go for it there. And probably we know that this radiation, the radiation of a black body, radiation of a black body, the radiation of a black body, you must have studied all these things there. Of a black body. What is a black body? What is a black body? Any idea? I think you must have studied. A body that does not allow transmission and reflection. It absorbs all the radiation received. That means we have a body, we can have some radiation here, some of them may go through it, that is a transmission. Some part may go reflected there, that is called reflection. But if it is a black body, it will neither reflect nor transmit, it will all absorb. Obviously, a black body is a theoretical conception and it is not a practical one, but there are certain interesting theories and very available, developed for this black body radiation, which we often use for this measurement of radiation. So, have you heard of Planck's law? I think you must have studied the Planck's law there. That is what we called a radiant flux density. We will explain it next day also. Is given by, of a black body, is given by RB lambda T is equal to C1 lambda to the power minus 5 divided by e to the power C2 lambda to the power T, lambda into T minus 1. So, I think you are all familiar with this one. C1 and C2 are constants, lambda is the wavelength and T is the temperature, like this. And this is known as Planck's law. I think in heat equations and etc. you have come across like this there. Interestingly, before Planck developed this law, there was a similar law in Webb. It was used like this there. That was called Wien's law. What is Wien's law? He proposed that RB lambda T is equal to C1 lambda to the power minus 5 divided by e to the power C2 by lambda T. Have you come across? So, what is the difference? The difference is that there is only Planck saw that there is some inaccuracy in this equation, and he proposed that it should not be e to the power C2 by lambda T as such there, but actually it should be e to the power C2 by lambda T minus 1. And to do that one, interestingly, Planck has to develop a theory which is known as quantum mechanics. And he got the Nobel Prize award for that one. Basically, the basics of it, you can say that this is a minus 1, that is the thing he introduced here, and basically the quantum theory, to bring it into it, he had to develop the quantum theory and do that one. But for our engineers, we will find that there is no such difference. Once we look for the measurement point of view, we will often use the Wien's law more conveniently compared to the Planck's law, because this handling this minus 1 is difficult, but here it is a composed one there. So, we will see in the next class that what is the Planck's law, how can the Planck's law be used for measurement of temperature of different distant objects, or like this there, and what we can say, can you have a radiation pyrometer or radiation thermometer, whatever. So, we will discuss these things in the next class.